Welcome to this somewhat controversial episode of BS with Deborah. BS meaning Bible study. I know. A lot of people will have their antennas up, and I'll get tons of mails telling me, oh, that's not in the Bible. That's not in the Bible. It is. Okay. Right from the beginning, God manifested himself as an angel to Abraham. Let's just take it from there. Okay, and he told him to live with people in the land of Ur of the Chaldeans, and he will take him to a land flowing with milk and honey. You know, I know that lots of people have said, oh, it was just an angel that, led Moses and the Israelites through the wilderness. Well, yes, but if you study, angels, books about angels, you'll see that there are layers of angels. And in fact, it was Jesus Christ himself, who manifested as an angel, okay, and as the Son of God. I know a lot of people just, say Elohim randomly. Elohim simply means, God, plural, gods. Elohim means gods. And then Bene Elohim means the sons of gods, the sons of God. Okay? And scattered throughout the Bible are references to a God, the sons of God, and then the Son of Man. Okay? And in the book of Psalms, Psalm 82, verse 1, if you read the English version, it just sounds like, okay, it just sounds like God presiding in the great assembly. He renders judgment amongst the gods. So, meaning that there's a God, and then there are other gods with small g. That's the way it is in the Bible. But, I have the book of Genesis here because I've got the whole series. This is the Israeli translation. It just says the Israel Bible, but this is not the whole Torah. It's broken into small little books. This is the whole of Genesis, and I've got all the others, right to the whole Torah. So God presides in the assembly. He renders judgment amongst the gods. How long will you defend the unjust and show partiality to the wicked? Defend the weak and the fatherless. Uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed. The gods, small gods, know nothing. They understand nothing. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I said, this is big God now. You are gods. You are sons of the Most High. You will die like mere mortals. Now, why would he say that? It means that by their very nature, death is not part of it. So mortals who can die are humans made by God. But because of their wicked deeds and their evil deeds, the Lord, big God, has cursed them and said they will die like mere mortals. And you tell me, well, that's just one part of it. But that's not just one part of it, because if you come to the book of Deuteronomy 32 verse 8, it says there that when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind, he set up boundaries for the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel. Now, this Bible says the sons of Israel, but actually, the Israeli, Torah says according to the sons of God, small God, and it's very interesting because I've just come to know this, not long ago, but I've always been of the belief for years. I used to tell my husband, I am pretty sure that, there are bad demons or devils that, rule over nations and countries, and the real terrible ones rule over certain countries, and I'm not going to name them. And then fairly good ones, which are the angels, rule over some other nations, okay? And you can find this truthfully in the book of Daniel, where when Daniel prayed, seeking the face of the Lord, he prayed for the king and he was waiting for an answer. For 21 days, the answer didn't come, and eventually Angel Gabriel came and said, right from the day you prayed, your prayers were answered. But on my way to bring the answer to your prayer, I was stopped by the Prince of Persia. Okay? Well, obviously he was in Persia, so it's not like a physical walking Prince of Persia. It was a spiritual Prince of Persia, meaning that was his territory. That Prince of Persia, he was a demon. Okay, he presided over Persia, while Gabriel was the angel who presided over that place. And he said the Prince of Persia engaged him in battle until your angel, the angel of the Israelites, even though the whole scenario was taking place in Babylon. But the Bible makes us know that Angel Michael was the angel assigned to the Israelites. So he now came to assist Angel Gabriel. And since I read that portion, I was convinced that, nations or regions have angels guiding them and demons guiding some of them. And these are the verses in the Bible, especially Deuteronomy and Psalm 82, kind of confirms what I'm saying, that when the Lord created the nations, he divided them up according to the sons of gods, like God small g. And Psalm 82 said, and God presides in the great assembly. He renders judgment amongst the gods. How long will you defend the unjust? Who are the unjust he's talking about? He's talking about worldly kingdoms where these people, he's giving them territories to look after. Okay? And some of them were doing a really poor job about it. And he's telling them that you're showing partiality to the wicked. Look at your leaders. They get away with murder, literally, okay? And that's because it's a spirit from these bad gods, demons, okay, who are ruling over those places. Remember the letters to the 7 churches in the book, penultimate book to Revelation. So the church at Ephesus, Thyatira, Philadelphia, and so on. Again, that letter was to the angel of this place, right? I'm sure they weren't referring to the pastors of that place. They were probably referring to the spiritual beings whose territory was Ephesus, Thyatira, Philadelphia. Okay, that's what that was referring to. And in the book of Daniel, when he finished, he says, for instance, in verse 12 in the book of Daniel, he says, verse 5, then I, Daniel, looked, and there before me stood 2 others, one on this bank of the river and one on the opposite bank. One of them said to the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river. So meaning he was floating, so clearly he's not a mortal being like you and me. How long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled? The man clothed in linen, which I believe is Jesus Christ, who was above the waters of the rivers, lifted his right hand and his left hand towards heaven. And I heard him swear by him who lives forever. It will be for a times and a half. When the power of the holy people has been finally broken, all these things shall be completed. So I asked, my Lord, what will the outcome of all this be? He replied, go your way, Daniel, because the words are rolled up and sealed until the time of the end. Many will be purified, made spotless and refined, but the wicked will continue to be wicked. None of the wicked will understand, but those who are wise will understand. As for you, I jumped it there. Go your way till the end. You will rest, and then at the end of the days, you will rise to receive your allotted inheritance. So here we have an example of someone who already is assured of resurrection and eternity. So Daniel, Isaiah, Ezekiel, and many people, Gideon, Joshua, I'm like Joseph, Moses. Examples abound in the Bible where angels appeared to people, and even in the New Testament it made mention of the fact that when Moses died, before God buried him, because the Bible said that God buried him himself, the devil Lucifer came to try to take the body of Moses, and Michael had to come and fight with him. You see that? So, and people who say, well, there's only heaven and earth. No, there are heavens with an S. Go through the whole Bible. In the beginning, God made the heavens and the earth. He didn't say the heaven and the earths, or the heavens and the earths. He made the heavens and the earth. And we know from the book of Enoch and other apocryphal books that there are 3 heavens, okay? There's this firmament that you see, and the next level is where the angels and the other fallen demons and whatnot are battling. And then the 3rd heaven is where God dwells, okay? And if we want to divvy up this God talk, we can say there's El Elyon, who is the God Almighty. He's the Baba, he's the up there God, okay? And then there's there's God, and then there's his son Jesus Christ, okay? And then there are other sons of God, okay? It's all in the Bible. I will find you the verses and the quotes and everything. And then there are others that were created, but they, with their thoughts, rebelled and were cast down to the abyss. And they are still there in the abyss, okay? We shall take that in our next study. And thank you so much for joining me on this episode of BS Bible Study with Deborah. Thank you.